What is up, nerds? Welcome back to episode 37 of the Pickleball Pursuit podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, with Pickleball Pursuit, here with my pickleball wife and co-host, Justin from Pickleball, etc. Justin, what's up, man? It's great to see you.
I'm letting you have it at this point.
Yeah.
I've tried to say so many times that we can be pickleball husbands. That's okay.
No, bear.
But
no.
I'll just let you have it at this point.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I'm still, trying to fight those deep urges,
Oh, man. Yeah, I've been good, dude. Traveling a lot, playing a little bit, not as much as I'd like to, but busy in a good way. And yeah, the weather's starting to warm up. It's pretty nice recently. So, yeah.
You busy boy.
Yeah.
Well, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Well, look, before we go too far and talk about this week's, topics, I just wanted to thank our sponsor, our title sponsor, which is PB Vision. So if you guys have not seen any past podcasts, you may not know that PB Vision is an AI-driven tool that you can sign up for, upload your pickleball gameplay, and then it will analyze it and show you different statistics and all these different really fun, analytics about your game, and will give you great insight on how to improve or things that you're doing very well. So I've used it in the past. Justin has as well. It's pretty enlightening to see really the depth of this tool and how much, how granular you can get to look at different, aspects or shots of your game. So if you are looking to sign up for PB Vision, you can use the link in the description, which will give you 15 bonus credits when signing up for PB Vision. So PB Vision, thank you so much for sponsoring this podcast. Justin, what do we got today? What are the topics, man?
Well, I'm going to start off with two things that we're not going to cover, and then we'll go into what we are going to do. We are not going to cover any Racket X content. That just happened this last weekend. There were a couple panels about pickleball. Go tune into John Q and Braden at Pickleball Effect if you guys want some coverage for that. They were both there in person. So we'll let them handle that rather than just kind of regurgitating what we learned from them anyway. Also, something else kind of going on in the news right now is the Proton situation. We're not going to cover that either because it's a mess. There is some more info coming out that is juicy if you like the tea, but we don't want to gossip here, and we're also not lawyers. So we'll leave that until there are...
Talk about this. I was like, I don't care.
No, yeah. So we'll wait until there are some real facts about the situation, and then maybe we'll touch on it if it's impactful. But we're going to leave that alone. So here's what we are going to get into. Paddles that we've been testing, mainly Lewis, this week. Of course, we're going to talk about that and other gear. And we are going to do a little March Madness, a little paddle bracket, a little battle.
Yeah, boy.
So we're going to get into that. I'm going to tell you guys about my new favorite hats, and we're going to dive into net gains and talk about what are your goals and your mindsets and how does that affect how you play and how you have fun playing pickleball. Talk about our new week, new main. We'll see if either of us have decided to make that segment interesting at all yet. The past 3 months, it's been kind of same. And then in NERDTOWN,
got a surprise for you on that, guys.
Do you? Actually, you have a surprise for me. You haven't even told me. So
haven't even told you, big guy.
NERDTOWN, I'm going to get into R&D and just kind of how does it happen? What do most companies do? What are the different types of kind of companies when it comes to levels of R&D? And sort of give you guys a peek behind the curtain of what I do, because that's a big part of my job as Pickleball, et cetera, being a private consultant. So that's everything. Let's see the paddles, dude. What have you been playing with this week?
All right, man. Well, we have been playing with the Nightshade from Gherkin. Played with this. I haven't really put too many hours in it. Probably played 3-4 games with it, which is not very much. But man, it's just a solid paddle. There's really nothing negative about it. I have, let's see, this is 3 or 4 grams of 1 gram per inch tungsten tape, and I believe this top portion is about 2 or 3 inches of 0.5 grams per inch tungsten tape. So put them on the corners, just trying this. It's kind of like a new thing I've experimented with. And yeah, I like it. This paddle is sufficiently powerful, gets rip and spin, and feels for a 14 millimeter fiberglass paddle. It's shockingly and this is what I told you earlier. I was waiting to tell you this to see if you agreed or not. It's a pretty dense feeling paddle, which is kind of counterintuitive with other, 14 millimeter paddles. For instance, like the C45, kind of like a hollower, less dense feel. And same thing with the Neonic. Not like super hollow from the Neonic, but the Neonic is not quite as dense feeling as this Nightshade, in my personal opinion. So, great paddle. What are your thoughts, Justin?
I think I have to disagree with you. So, for construction-wise, just so you know, it's 10 mil diameter cells. So we're talking about the larger cells. So, that's a lower density honeycomb. So it technically is legitimately more hollow and less dense.
Of course.
Especially versus the Neonic Flare Prime X, which is using the 6 mil cells, which are like the narrow cells. So that's actually technically more dense. And that's
why I'm saying it surprised me.
Right. So this has a CFC layup, so carbon fiberglass carbon, similar to the Neonic as well. But yeah, they feel pretty different. I don't know that I would say this feels more dense, but I will say that I was kind of shocked with how easy it was to control for a 14 millimeter large cell size CFC paddle. And it comes in pretty light, so I weighted mine up too. This, I don't know if you can see super well, but I put, similar to you, I put 1 gram per inch from here down, and then this is just like literally 1 gram of half gram per inch, because I wanted just a little bit more, because I did just only this initially, and then I added some half gram per inch here because I wanted some more. But even still, this paddle, the stats are really good. It's like around 7 twist weight, 114 swing weight, and like 8.2 ounces, even with this weight.
Yeah.
So it comes in super light. Yeah, it's kind of up my alley. I like a thin paddle. I like a poppier paddle. I would say this is like an aggressive all-court paddle. I wouldn't put it in the power category, but it has respectable pop for sure.
Yeah.
And the spin is good. Spin is not bad at all. And yeah, I don't know. There's something about the feel though. So, and maybe I think that's what you're talking about. I don't have a great word to describe it. Yeah, I don't have a great word to describe it. And I'm curious, like what's going on to make it feel different? Because from the, listed specs, you wouldn't expect much difference, but.
And don't get this twisted with us saying the feel is different in a negative way.
Right.
I actually enjoy it. Yeah. That's kind of, I've kind of been trying to figure out, like I said, I've played 3 or 4 games with it, so it's not really that detailed or, extensive of a play test to where I have like a really good idea on the paddle. Yeah. But yeah, it definitely feels a little different than I was expecting, Yeah,
I played 1 session with it, so about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Look, we'll talk about these more. This is 3 different 14 millimeter CFC paddles, and all 3 of these feel significantly different. So as we've said many times, like a paddle is greater than the sum of its parts. So you can't always just read a spec page and know exactly how it's going to play. Each one sort of has its own unique personality. But all that to say, getting into the nitty gritty, just the high level stuff, this is a very good paddle. I really enjoy it. The branding is not my favorite. I love the colors, but it's a bit busy. But that's okay.
I don't dislike it.
It's a decision. You know what it is when you see it. And you definitely know what it's called.
Than most other. Yeah. I would say the only thing I don't love about the design is how the Nightshade off-centers the Gherkin logo.
Yes,
that's
I agree.
The one thing I don't love.
This logo right here is a little off-center because of the text here. I agree completely.
But that's like me looking at that, very nitpicky and developing that that thought for it. So solid paddles. I'll be hitting those a little more.
There's an elongated version too. Yeah,
it's just not my cup of tea. It's right here. It's that carbon 3X shape, except I would say this probably has a slightly longer handle.
Yeah, I don't think
only slightly.
That's like a 5.25 handle, maybe, right?
Yeah, maybe 5.3.
5.3. It's a little shorter than preference, but it's not like a one hand only handle like you see on some of these really stubby ones.
Yeah, and my tolerance for short handles on elongated paddles is very different than my tolerance for a hybrid shape and even a standard shape paddle.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. The more elongated the face becomes, the less I feel like I have as to where the sweet spot is and just
feels so
where to
clunky.
place the ball. Yes. Yeah. Yep. I would probably hate those bird paddles. I don't know if you...
Like the ergo paddles?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would probably drive me crazy. So yeah, Gherkin, keep it up, man. Been pounding the G-Spot trainer. Been pounding it. So getting good. Oh, one negative. I did want to say one negative about this paddle. The stock grip, I believe, is what makes it feel pretty substantial in terms of handle thickness. So if you're sensitive to that, you probably just want to take the stock grip off and just do one over a grip. So
I've been doing that all my paddles recently. I just rip the stop grip and go double over grips. I just two over grips.
Does it feel exactly the same as other?
Yeah, with two over grips feels good, and it's using a hard pallet, so you can feel the bevel's real nice. Feels normal.
Yeah.
So that's just something that I've been doing on all my paddles, so I just went ahead and did it.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. Good to hear that and confirm. So we're gonna move on to the newly released, or newly updated and released Filth lineup.
Not released yet.
This is
releasing end of April.
Releasing, excuse me, and then newly updated. So we got the Filth Elongated, which is the traditional Filth with a little redesign. This is the Filth Hybrid, which I played very minimally with today. And then the Filth Standard, which is the Fat Boy shape. So this Hybrid is the same shape as the Invader, not the Loco. So in my opinion, this is probably the best hybrid shape on the market. You say the Grooven 16 HD, which I would agree is right up there with it.
I think those are the top two.
Haven't looked at the Kiwi Slice in a while, but that was also up there as one of the best hybrid shapes in my opinion. So,
yes.
Have you hit with these yet?
No, I just got them. I still have plastic on the handle actually, but
yeah,
they're lookers. The
Very
original Filth was one of my, I don't know. Never mind. I was about to say it's one of my first, but it actually wasn't. But I had the original Filth and mained it for a while. Yeah, early on. Basically I got it when it launched. I literally bought it on launch day and played with it just because it looked so damn good. And at that time, like Gen 2 Thermoform was kind of top of the line tech. I love that paddle. So really cool to see it come back around. And now in the additional shapes, which like you said, this hybrid shape is just really good. So, I mean, and it's not even that complicated. All they did was not taper the sides, add a little bit longer handle than the J2K, and have a little bit of a radius here rather than immediately going straight out. So now it's way more comfortable for twoies. Boom. That's it. It's not that complicated.
Soft.
But that one and the Grooven 16 HD, those are the best hybrid shapes. And then this is their
Mine came in,
standard shape.
Sorry, go ahead.
The Fat Boy. Boom.
Yep. My Filth Hybrid came in at 113 swing weight and 6.7 twist weight, which is very good out the box. Not like J2K levels, but
I mean, that's close,
pretty
actually.
Dang good. Yeah, J2K was close. Like 113, 114, 7.1, which is, that's just the gold standard for, stock paddles currently.
Yeah.
But
the one thing I was going to say, though, is, the Loco was discontinued. And this is essentially the same exact build as the Loco. So if you were a Loco lover and sad that the Loco went away, this is your paddle.
I will say this is an upgrade. A pretty substantial upgrade.
I haven't played with mine yet.
Loco was great. There was nothing wrong with it. It was a bit softer. Got good spin. This is super, just minimal uses, but this felt like it had a pretty good amount of power and pop. It kind of reminded me of the HUDEF Mage Pro Gen 2.
But still below the Invader, right?
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. But I was shocked with how powerful and poppy this paddle felt for a 16 millimeter, just a Gen 2. Nothing, no fiberglass or anything in the face layup. But, man, really digging the look of these, and I'm kind of glad that they did this. It seems some people might think it's like a kind of a interesting move, to have all three, but I like it.
Smart.
I think it just adds, another layer to meet all the needs of all the players who don't want a fat boy or an invader, So the Filth is just a really, really solid looking paddle, and almost kind of like a legacy paddle at this point, Like it's one of the most recognizable
bread and butter
paddles. Yeah.
If you will. Yeah, but
very dad.
Yeah, true. Yeah, dude, they killed it with the design like they always do, and they said they're going to have kind of new designed boxes and materials around this new Filth family. So that'd be cool. I'm always interested to see like what they put out.
Yeah, big fan. Keep it up, Doug. Congrats on that. Dick's Sporting Goods. Now you can say that you are in Dick's. So good for you, man. All right, we'll move on to some updates, and then we'll get to the paddle brackets. So, guys, my Nemesis and I, my 12-year-old Nemesis, Chance, for some of you who have seen any of the Pursuit of 4-5 or have watched any of John Toe's gameplay videos on YouTube, probably have heard the name Chance. Dude's banger. 12-year-old banger. Absolute beast of a player. He and I are going to play a money ball together. And everybody likes to joke that he's my nemesis because, he's beaten me in a few tournaments.
And me.
And you. Yeah, that's true. But he and I are going to play in a 4-0 and under money ball tournament.
You better use that low duper, bro.
I know, bro. I was just thinking to myself, if it's money ball, dude, I might as well be playing with it. But yeah, it'll be fun. I'm sure there's going to be quite a few people doing the same thing that I'm doing, So
I'm surprised Chance's duper is under 4-0.
I am too. He's won a lot of tournaments. Very strange how his duper is under. He's like 397 or 395. So he's like right there. But I mean, we talked about this in the past. Like 3-5 to 4-0 is like a grind, like an absolute grind. Yeah, absolute grind. So, we'll be playing together. When enemies become allies. It'll be fun. For people who don't know this, but I love Chance. Like, I think he's a great kid. Anytime we see each other, we're just goofing off, and he's actually a very sweet kid. So Chance, man, let's go get that money, dude. I'm trying to get you paid. So yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. Gonna rely on that little 12-year-old banger to just smash some, third shot drives, and I'll put the fifth over, and then they'll probably pop it up, and he'll just speed it up right into their chest.
My favorite.
11-0, 11-0, 11-0, 11-0.
Easy.
Easy money. All right, dude, you ready to move on to the brackets?
Well, before we do, I think maybe there's some gear that we were going to touch on. Did you want to talk about the Gearbox paddle?
Yeah.
Because I know.
I'm sorry, my bad. I thought you were talking hats. Let's talk about the Gearbox paddle. I talked about last week, or maybe it was the week before. I talked about the GX2 Integra XL and the elongated. But I did get in, finally, the GX2 Hyper Shape, which, man.
Standard shape?
Yeah, this is their standard shape. Did I talk about this last week? Did it come in last week?
I don't think so. I think you said you were going to play with it more and that you were interested in it.
This paddle's pretty freaking good, dude. And me...
Which is a lot coming from you.
Yeah, I have notoriously been a non-believer in the Gearbox paddles.
That's a good way to put it, because you're not a hater, but...
No, I just don't think they're very good paddles overall. I love the idea of them. I love that they're trying new things and doing things that are completely different than anyone else. But, realistically, they don't perform quite well. However, this GX2 lineup is pretty damn good. So, played with this kind of a lot. and I like this paddle. There's just, the handle's just short, man. That's it. Like,
so it's not making another appearance in a New Week, New Maine.
It is just a little too short, man.
It's 2025 brands. We're trying to use two-handed backhands.
Yeah, you know? All you have to do is just tighten up this taper right here, or
just add a radius to the taper.
0.25 inches. It's not going to kill the sweet spot. In fact, it's going to be fine, guys. It'll be just great. All right. Did you want to talk about hats first, or are we doing that after? Yeah, go ahead, man.
Right now. I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
All right. So I found my new favorite pickleball hats. So I wanted to share it with you guys because, hats and pickleball are, pretty popular, actually. And we've already touched on why we're not going to wear melons, because we don't want to look like we're wearing 10-gallon cowboy hats or an actual 5-gallon bucket on our heads. They're just giant. And they're also quite heavy and stiff. I did get one and returned it immediately. And they're expensive. So melon's out. Okay. I know it's maybe not a popular opinion, but melon's out. Alter Ego Running, that's another, similar company. They have similar build quality to Melon. And they have a kind of running hat style one that's less structured and a little bit smaller. And it's good. But even still, it's kind of giant. And I don't have a small head, honestly. Like whenever I wear hats, I wear them on like the regular size. I'm not like over snapping them or anything. So that hat's pretty decent, but it's also kind of expensive. So that leads me to this brand. This is what I'm wearing right now. The brand is called Runner, RNNR. And they have multiple different shapes, but these are the two that I liked. This one, and I also have two sizes. You can get large or standard. So if you are one of those fat heads, you can get a large, or you can get the standard size. This is one of their styles, and it has mesh on the sides here, but then it's solid on top. And all of these have like the flexible foam bill, these two shapes at least. And they have a ton of different styles, and they're only like $38, which is expensive, but it's a quality hat. Compared to the other two, it's very good. And they have these are super nice materials. It has a sweatband built in, so it's good for running and athletics and stuff. And then this other shape doesn't have the mesh, but it's perforated, if you can see, all the way around, similar to how the Melon and Alter Ego are. And this is like their smallest kind of running hat. It has a little shorter bill, which I didn't know if I was going to hate, but I'm actually fine with it. So yeah, anyway, the Runner hats, we're not affiliated. I wish we were. We don't have a code or anything, but they're solid.
Yeah.
If you want to try something that's like a little bit, look, this is very packable. It's very light on your head, but it still absorbs a lot of sweat. And it's just a great summer hat. Me, who lives in hot ass Texas, this is like a priority for me.
So yeah, I don't know if I've seen you without that hat on since Texas.
Well, this is actually only the third time I've worn it, but I wore it in Texas and then, yeah.
Yeah,
but,
you wore it both days in Texas, right?
Yeah, and I played with it there, and then I played with it one time, and then I washed it. By the way, it looks brand new. I just threw it in the washer, no problem, and then I just hung it up to dry. And
you just threw it in the washer?
Just threw it in the washer, backhand flick into the washer.
Yeah, just a little.
And yeah, got it out, hung it up, and it's like literally perfect. So
that's great.
Yeah, solid hats, and if you need a recommendation. I just wanted to bring it up. Anyway, all right.
Hell
let's go.
Yeah, dude.
Paddle
I love
bracket.
it. All right. Paddle bracket, baby. It's March Madness. If you are a basketball fan, you will know that March Madness is a lit time of the year. You got some crazy basketball games going on. Lots of very intriguing matches, and oftentimes some upsets, some Cinderella stories. And, I thought, let's make this into a paddle bracket. John Q did this last year, but I can't remember if he did it exactly like this or not.
I think it was a little different, and he hasn't done it this year, and it's basically the end of March, so we don't feel like we're stealing your idea, John. Seems like you were passing on it this year, so.
Yeah. So, John, don't get mad at me. Don't give me this that hate text that you always give me. Just kidding. John is like literally
John's a sweetheart.
The nicest guy.
He's the best. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of pisses me off how nice everybody is. Like Chris is like the nicest kid ever. And then John is like the nicest guy ever. Just like, guys, talk a little shit to me. Come on. Just a little bit. Anyway. All right. So we are going to do, we have 16 paddles in this bracket.
Or paddle series.
Yeah, so basically, we're not going to separate it into like a specific paddle. We're just going to do like the paddle series as a whole. And if there's not a paddle series, it's just going to be the specific paddle. So coming in at the 1 seed, I'm going to tell you the top 4 seeds, and then we're just going to go straight into the, the bracket place. So
and you seeded these based on sales numbers, how many pros play with them, and also maybe like reviewer demand. You're going to see how many sales you make and how much people are asking you about them. So.
Yeah. So these are, in my opinion, the 4 most popular and or best performing / most used, amongst the public. So coming in at number 1, unsurprisingly, the Yola Pro 4 series. The number 1 seed, the top dog. I think that's kind of just a no-brainer paddle series to put in number 1. Yep. Every freaking pro whose contract expires, they go straight to Yola.
Yeah, any free agent's going to play with that.
Even if they're not signed, they're going to play with Yola. So, and you see them everywhere. They're just out there like crazy. Number 2 seed is the PaddleTech Bantam series. So the TKO CX, ESQC, ALW, very, very popular power paddles. Number 3 is the Carbon True Foam series. This paddle got an insane amount of hype, like easily the most hype paddle of all time that I remember. And they kick ass. Yeah, they're pretty damn good paddles. And then coming in at number 4, this one's kind of a Cinderella. This is the one who, came out of nowhere and everyone fell in love with, rightfully so. It's the Honolulu Pickleball Company J2K in the 4
One
seed.
paddle of the year, basically.
Paddle of the year, basically reviewers. Every single reviewer.
Yeah, so it deserves its spot, even though it's a small company there.
Yeah, J2K, J2TI, I would kind of just put those in the same realm. A little different feel, a little different playability, but virtually same paddle. So we're going to go ahead. Let's just go ahead and with our number 1 seed. We have 16 paddles, just to remind you guys.
Are you going to show the bracket?
Yeah, the bracket will be up for you guys to see. So
we're just going to go straight down the left?
Yeah, we're going to straight down the left, man.
Right.
Number 1 seed, Yola Pro 4 versus the 16 seed, the Selkirk Power Air. This is going to be a close one, right?
Ooh, the seeds are going to stay true here. It's pretty. This is a pretty easy choice. It's
not even close. Yola Pro 4 is going to move on to the Elite 8. Now, listen, guys, we're going to go all the way to the Final 4, and then we'll talk about what we're going to do after that. So, coming in at number 8 seed, going against the number 9 seed, the 6-0 Ruby
tighter
versus the bread and butter Shogun. Pretty solid matchup, man. What are your thoughts?
We haven't talked about these. Yeah, just to be clear, we haven't talked about these. So,
who do you think takes the win here?
All right, let's talk about the Ruby. Obviously, it was one of the first popular Kevlar paddles. The pros, there are pros using it right now, or at least a version of it that's skinned to look like a Ruby. I don't know that we can, include that. We'll just talk about the Rubies we've tested. And then the Shogun, which was the first titanium paddle. So there's some interest there,
PET, to be exact.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah. I don't know who's so pedantic to care about that. But yeah, so there's some kind of similarity there. They both brought a material to popularity. Mm-hmm. Performance only, I choose the Shogun.
Ooh, I was not expecting that.
But to me, personally, I think the Double Black Diamond is better performance than the Ruby. So, but also, if you want to go talk about the side by sides, I think the Shogun is better performance than the Filth, which is the carbon fiber version. Yeah. So I feel like PET was a big move in 2024, and it's a great material. Most people, a vast majority of people, really enjoy it, and it has great performance. So, and Kevlar, meh. So
Kevlar was all the buzz, man. So here's what we have to keep into account. We're not comparing these paddles from 6-8 months ago. We're comparing them right now.
Yeah, if you put them both in our hands today. And this is on performance only, right?
Yeah, performance only. Now,
Shogun.
obviously, I'm going to pick the 6-0 to play with because I don't love elongated shape paddles. However, I do think that the bread and butter Shogun has a better feel. It produces equivalent spin, and if you are an elongated shape lover, one of the higher recommendations that I have for a non-power paddle in the elongated.
Exactly.
And
you just said it right there.
It's so freaking good looking too.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say overall, I would think that the Ruby would fit my needs better and perform better for me. However,
I'd play the Shogun out of these two, by the way, and I don't play elongated.
Shocking. Yeah, that's shocking.
I'm not a big fan of the Ruby. I can think of 10 better hybrids. Now, can we think of 10 better elongateds? Not really.
Oh, yeah. You're right. The Ruby does... It's not the most ideal hybrid shape, nor is it the most stable. It's pretty average, maybe below average for hybrid shapes nowadays.
It's average.
All right, you've convinced me. I'll give you this one. We have our first upset. The number 9 seed, Bread and Butter Shogun, moves on against the...
All right, now we're going to get a little spicy.
All right, here. Let's see. Let me write this in real quick.
The next one. 4 seed, J2K.
Number 4.
Versus the 13 seed, the Valère Forza series. So in this one, we're not really like limiting to shapes. We're just going to say the Forza Mach 1 and Forza Mach 2. So what do you think?
I mean, I think this is a pretty easy one for me. The Valère Mach 2 Forza is a great paddle. The Mach 1 Forza is a pretty standard paddle.
Solid.
But the J2K is just it's in a league of its own, in my personal opinion.
Exceptional performer. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most stable a hybrid shape currently can be on the market, and all while performing well in virtually every other category for an all-court,
J2K.
battle. Yeah, J2K, easy pick for me.
Okay, right, I'm going to make you pick this next one first.
I love it.
I picked first, and we'll see if there's an upset. The 5 seed,
let's go.
Franklin C45. The 12 seed, the Vatic Saga series, which you almost made the Saga Bloom.
Yeah, this is...
And you almost made the C45, so you pick first.
This is intriguing. Yeah, this is probably the hardest pick of the first round. The C45 is awesome. However, the Saga Bloom is very good. I played with that paddle today, actually. Just messing around with it because one of my friends wanted to play with it. Saga Flash, also good. The V7 Saga or whatever. Is
good if you like heavy elongated. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, if you like tennis rackets. This is really tough, man, because the Franklin is one of the most unique paddles on the market. However, I will say, with the durability issues that seem to have, arisen, now that could just be a couple of one-offs, I will still say I don't think there's an upset here. I still would pick the Franklin C45.
Okay. And we said in this first couple rounds that we got to agree.
We have to agree. So. Now, look, you can sway me.
Let me tell you my pick.
You can sway me.
This is the simplest way. If we were talking about the C45, it's coming supposedly in an elongated shape and a standard shape. Mm-hmm. It's already in a broke-ass hybrid shape, basically a poor, skinny hybrid shape. But if we were talking about a C45 series, and also if we were talking about a C45 that had a few more months to prove its durability concerns wrong, which it hasn't done, then I think it would be an easy C45 pick. But since we're only talking about a skinny hybrid shape that you say maybe it's only a few one-offs, but honestly, you're in the same chats I am. We're talking to a lot of people who have C45s, and it feels like over half of them are not okay. As in, they have something wrong with them or they have changed since you bought them. To me personally, as someone like who values quality, that's like an automatic out. I loved how my C45 played, and then it started changing, and then it started rattling, and then it started being louder on one side than the other. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't play with this paddle. And the Saga series is just pure solid. It's just good. It hasn't shown any durability concerns at all. I would pick the Saga.
You know what they say, man. Your wife knows best. So just listen to her. Happy wife, happy life. All right, Saga series moves on to the Elite Eight. Now, should we just go through this side of the bracket to the Final Four, or should we go other side of the bracket?
No, we go other side. Let's go. First round on the other side.
All right, first round on the other side of the bracket, the East, which is the Paddletech Bantam Series versus the number 15 seed, the Selkirk 008.
I don't even think we need to talk about it.
Yeah, straight to the Paddletech. Yeah,
let's go to the next round.
Next round. All right, this is going to be a pretty interesting one, I think.
Yes.
We have the 7 seed, the Pickleball Apes Pulse Series versus... you guys are just going to laugh. The 10 seed, the Neonic Flare Prime X, baby. No matter what we say, those are our main paddles.
Basically, yeah.
We could switch.
But sound like such shills, by the way, at this point. But
so bad, dude.
you don't know how hard, by the way, I've tried to switch off that main just for the public perception, so I don't seem like a shill. Yeah. But what's funny is
I've never even reviewed that paddle.
Well, good.
I've never done a dedicated review for it. Yeah. I think about it all the time. I'm like, man, maybe I should go back and review that paddle just because it's so great in my opinion. All right, here we go.
See if they come out with additional shapes, which everyone's been asking for, right? They come out with that in hybrid elongated. That'll be time to do a review, I think.
Yeah, I agree. All right, what do you got? 7 seed, Apes Pulse Series, or the Neonic Flare Prime X?
The Pulse Series have a great feel, but I'd be a liar if I don't pick the Neonic. I mean, like clearly,
the Pulse Series feels great for 3 weeks.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I already stated my problems with durability concerns with the Franklin and break in, emphasis on break. So I have to choose the Neonic Flare Prime X. Of course, I'm clearly choosing it every time. I have 100 paddles right in front of me right here. Every time I go to play a competitive match, I'm clearly choosing it, right? So I would be a liar if I didn't choose in this bracket. And at the risk of... I told Lewis when I saw this bracket, I said, if we pick the Neonic, people call us a shill. If we pick the Pulse, people are going to call us a liar. So
yeah. So, I would 100% say, regardless, I think the Flare Prime X is a better paddle than the Pulse V, the Pulse S, E, X. I just think it's a better paddle. It's not even a comparison, in my opinion. So Flare Prime X moves on, baby. All right, moving on to the 3 seed, the Carbon True Foam versus the Selkirk Lux, the soft, pillowy 14 seed. Who do you got, man? Is there an upset here? Is there an upset, you think?
No upset. I will say I think that the Lux is Selkirk's best paddle. We talked about this. That or the SLK Halo Pro. My only problem with the Lux... Control. Oh, yeah, it's also a good paddle. But I think... And, now we're going to see the Lux with the Infinigrit. If it lives up to its claims... That's an amazing improvement because that's been the big problem with the Lux is the spray on grit. But it actually is a good paddle, and it's probably one of the better edgeless paddles that exists. So I don't think it's bad.
That's a good point.
However, True Foam easy. True Foam's excellent. And they have all the different shapes.
True Foam's about as good as it gets. All right, this is where it gets really interesting, guys. This is going
to be a tough one for you.
The 11-6-24 Power Series versus the 11 seed. The Bread and Butter Invader. Oh, boy. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
Let's let you go first because, this is your longtime main here. What would you pick?
All right. The 11-6-24 Power Paddles are the best power paddles, in my personal opinion. I don't think it's really even remotely close at this point.
You don't think it's close now with the YOLO Pro Force?
No. Okay. I don't. Price... is
if we're vector and value,
I mean, it's literally $120 cheaper.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Truly insane. The Bread and Butter Invader, one of my longtime mains, one of my favorite paddles of all time. Absolutely gorgeous. I have it right here. I never let it leave my side because it's so beautiful. Love this paddle. Honestly, Probably should go back to it and just see how it feels. But with that being said, I do think the 11624 Power Series are the better paddles overall. And
that's my pick too.
It's just a small little, small amount that would set it above them. I wouldn't say it's that small. It's clear.
I think they're more to offer.
Better. Yeah,
they have more to offer.
Clearly better paddles.
And there's a little bit more innovation, and it's done really well. Like, I think that's been the best Gen 3 design, foam enhanced core, whatever, that we've seen so far by a long shot. So, got to give respect to that. And I think that's an easy pick. The Invader is like one of the better hybrid paddles on the market. It's funny because I was just talking to a friend today, and he's broke his paddle, and he's like, it's time to move on to a new paddle. This is like a lot of my local friends. They're like, I don't know what to buy. They just text me. And then usually I'm like, I'm going to bring you like 3 paddles to demo. Whichever one you like, I'll give you a code. You can buy it. So, but I was thinking he likes hybrids. He likes all court, but maybe he wants something a little more aggressive. So the Invader was on that list. I'm like, of 3 paddles, I'm going to bring him. So clearly I have high regard for it, but got to be the Power Series.
Yeah. Yep. It's hard to compete with those. Those are not only exceptional performers, but one of the best values on the market. So, all right, we're going to move back on. This is round 2, baby. Things are getting interesting. We're in the Elite 8. This is where the Cinderella stories really come into play. You can win the first round, but getting that second round win, that's hard. We got the number 1 seed, the big boy, Yola Pro 4 Series versus the beautiful, luscious feeling, gorgeous bread and butter Shogun with the 9 seed. All right, man. Is Cinderella going to make it past?
Not this round.
Midnight. No.
I picked the Yolas.
I picked the Yolas. As much as I love the look of the bread and butter, I do think the Yola Pro 4 is the better overall paddle. Yeah. All right. We're getting interesting. The number 4 seed, Honolulu Pickleball Company, J2K, versus the 12 seed, Vatic Sagas. All right, man. This is currently, this is our Cinderella. This is our Cinderella right now. The lowest seed, making it the furthest.
Oh, the Saga currently.
Yep. We have a 10 seed and the 12 seed allied. Is the Saga going to overcome the ever popular J2K?
And for fairness, we'll just say J3K counts as this, This is it's like the same paddle, another shape. So the Saga has a series also. Sorry, Vatic.
Yeah.
Got it. I personally will never play with a J2K. I can't stand that handle. But I have to acknowledge that it's an amazing performance, and I really did enjoy the J3K. And TI. So the Sagas are great, and this is actually really tight because they are similar paddles. The thing that pushes it over the edge for me is the metrics, because they're even similar value.
Yeah.
But the Honolulu paddles just have this incredible stability basically built in out of the box. They have these great swing weight to twist weight ratios, and they feel really balanced. They feel super stable. With the Sagas, you can't say the same. The Bloom is good, but the Flash is still using the old school Flash shape with the tapered sides. It's not super stable, and it's also very head heavy. The V7 is even further in that direction. So they won't be as easy to use, or maybe even, as nice to use based on those metrics. So my pick, J2K.
I agree. J2K all the way. So that wraps up our first side.
All right. We got 2 of our final 4.
Let's see if we can get those. Let's see what number 3 and number 4 are. So, other side of the bracket. Here we go, man. This is where it gets interesting. We have the number 2 seed, the Bantam series from Paddletech, versus the number 10 seed trying to make it. Cinderella Story. The Neonic Flare Prime X, man.
We can't win, whatever choice we make. All right, you go first.
All right, man. For me, this is a tough one because I mained the Bantam ESQC 14.3 millimeter for a good month, and I loved that paddle. And here's the thing, guys. I made a switch. The next paddle that I went to, because it was a better performer, overall just happened to be the Neonic Flare Prime X. So, for that reason, obviously, I'm going to go with the Neonic Flare Prime X. It's just a better paddle overall, has a much larger sweet spot, has better spin. It's just, in my opinion, it's the best performing standard shape paddle on the market. What do you got?
Okay. How about the Bantam series? Let me say this. The TKOs and the TKO CX are so incredibly difficult to play with. Like, I feel like I was telling you that those are paddles for people who are 5'5 plus. Because in order to play well with them, you have to hit the center constantly, and it's a small sweet spot. If you can do that, they are incredible performers. So if you're a 5'5 plus player, then you can get a lot out of those paddles. But for the rest of us mere mortals, they're incredibly difficult. They feel far more stiff. So then you go down to the ESQ and the ALWs, and they're a little bit more playable, right? And actually exceptional paddles, obviously. But exactly what you said. I was actually maining the ESQ 12.7 for a little bit, and then a new paddle came out, the Neonic Flare Prime X. I started trying that, and I was like, crap. Damn. I'm just playing better. Like, it's just better, and it's $100 cheaper. So $100+ cheaper. Yeah. So I can't pick the Bantam series if I say I mained that paddle and then it was replaced by the paddle that's competing against the Neonic Flare Prime X. Same thing you just said. So again, if we pick the Flare Prime X, we look like shills. If we don't, we look like liars. So I guess we'll look like shills. I'll pick the Flare Prime X because it was a very clear comparison that happened in my paddle journey.
Yep. All right. The 10 seed is still alive, man. We have one Cinderella still in. That is the Flare Prime X at the number 10 seed. All right, let's move on to the number 3 seed, the Carbon True Foam, versus the number 6 seed. This, like I said, it is getting so challenging. The number 6 seed is the 11624 Power Series. All right, Justin, you go first, man.
Oh my God,
I know what I want to pick.
Actually, so hard to pick. Both of these series are exceptional paddles. The separation, I guess, the value is better for the 11624, but the True Foam gets better spin. The Power Series gets better power, and the feel is probably subjective, right? And they're both easy enough to control. Innovation, it goes to the True Foam, obviously, even though the 11624 is not far behind, because that's pretty innovative the way that he built that.
Absolutely.
Now, the shapes on the Carbon are kind of garbage.
God, they're not good.
It's just like
the 2 is the only one that's like, this is fine.
Yeah, kind of. And the 1 is just so skinny. The 3 is like a canoe oar. It's just like this giant face, and then. Yeah, the 2 I really wanted to play with and literally couldn't just because the handle's too short. And I guess that's the me problem.
That's a me problem.
The Power Series has great shapes. That's one of their strengths. They have a great elongated shape. It feels very maneuverable. They have their hybrid shape, the Vapor, that feels extremely stable. And then they go to their wide body, the Pegasus, which is just a poppy, super, extremely stable paddle, you know? And if you're someone who loves wide bodies, then that's what you want, right? I didn't even pick yet, and I still don't know how to pick. I think I picked the 11624.
Yeah. That's a good choice. It comes down to 2 things for me. Actually, 3 things. It comes down to the shapes, the overall performance, and the price.
Yeah, big.
Let's be honest.
Value there.
Carbon True Foams are very expensive while being one of the few paddles that performs up to its price point. One of the very few. I would say the YOLOs and the True Foams are really about it. The Bantams, yes, they perform extremely well, but
not for most people.
$225. That's our $250 is a lot of money for a Gen 1 paddle.
Yeah.
And The shapes of the 11-6-24 paddles are all excellent.
Mm-hmm.
The Pegasus, excellent shape if you like wide bodies. The Vapor, excellent shape if you like hybrid shape paddles. And the Hirachi X, excellent shape if you like elongated shape paddles. There are no flaws with those three paddle shapes. So for that reason, I will say I do think they also slightly outperform the True Foams.
All around. Yeah, if you look at everything.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the 11-6-24. They're lighter, more maneuverable as well, which is a huge thing for a lot of people.
Yeah,
so 11-6-24, the 6 seed topples the number 3 seed. Moving on to the Final Four. All right, man, we are in the Final Four. Would you like to kind of give us some detail of what we're doing with this?
So we're going to do the Final Four next week. And up to this point, you know, in order for our bracket to work, we said that Lewis and I are going to have to agree, right? So we see who's in the Final Four. But we're going to do some deliberation on our own, and we're going to bring our own choices, basically, our own brackets next week for the Final Four. And we'll see if either of us can be convinced, or if we disagree, or if we agree. So we'll tackle the Final Four next week and see who ends up being our winner, and if we agree.
We won't.
You don't think so?
We'll see. I don't know. Probably. We'll probably agree.
All right. Well, actually really hard.
That was fun, dude. I actually really enjoyed that. They probably were bored to death.
Yeah, it was pretty slow.
Yeah.
Just
all right.
Play it on 1.5 times. All right.
Yeah, that's all right. Play it 1.5. No big deal. It's super fast. We're going to be talking this like this, and it'll be so good. Anyway, we are going to talk real quickly about a PBA Challenger event in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. If you guys are in the area, come on down. I think on April 3rd, this is not set in stone yet. We potentially will be doing host versus co-host. Might be a little MLP style, where Justin is the captain.
Yeah.
And yeah, Justin is the captain. I am the other captain, and we will be picking a few players in the area as well as a couple content creators available. And we'll see who can win. Now, this, like I said, it's not set in stone yet, but it's very, very likely to happen. So,
little exhibition match.
Yeah, little exhibition match. You can see me and Justin trash talk, and then feel really bad about it, and remember that we have to go home, and we're married
together.
Yeah. So, could be interesting. So check it out. We'll let you know 100% when it comes, but if it does happen, very likely, like I said, April 3rd will be the date at Stacks in Baton Rouge. So should be fun, man. I'm gonna smash it, as always.
Outside of the as always. Outside of the exhibition match, like you said, it is a PPA Challenger event, so it's like an actual big tournament there. So
yeah, there will be some high level players there.
Yeah, we are not playing Win, but we'll be there spectating. Yeah,
that's not Justin and I. Don't get that. Don't get that.
Yeah, don't get that twisted.
Yeah, I tried 4-5 one time. All right, we're gonna move on. We're probably gonna be pretty quick from here on out. We're gonna move on to Net Gains, baby. Net Gains, sponsored by Range Fit. Range Fit is my go-to electrolyte mix drink. I really love it. Honestly, it's just such a great product overall. It has great balance of your necessary electrolytes for a great price, and most importantly, it's not super overpowered in terms of flavor and does not have a bunch of sugar and additives to it. So if you'd like to save some money when purchasing Range Fit Electrolyte Mix, you can utilize the promo code in the description and save you some money at checkout. So Code Pursuit will save you some money. It's getting hot, guys. It's honestly just smart to have some electrolyte mix with you, whether it be for just hydrating yourself or alleviating cramps, especially when it gets hotter. So I don't know how it is for you, Justin, or everybody who's listening, but in the South, it gets hot here almost immediately in March. Today it's like 87 degrees. Yeah, your car said what, 101 or something like that?
101 yesterday. I was on my way to play. I got in the truck and it said 101 on the dash. It wasn't actually 101. It was 90 something, but it was hot. It was very hot. And that was kind of a rude awakening for me. I'm like, man, have I forgotten summer? Like, how do we play in this? Because it gets 10 degrees hotter than this. And it was pretty brutal in the sun. So Yeah, I'm actually need to re-up on my little tub of Range Fit because I already made it through the bag and then got a tub and then we've almost made it through the tub. So it's good stuff. I actually really enjoy it. And my wife does.
Yeah.
So
highly recommend electrolytes just in general. Just something I regularly consume. So net gains, man. What do we have?
So yesterday, like I'm saying, I went to play and I ended up basically having a really poignant example of this. And it was something that I thought was, important to talk about. And that is your overall mindset for pickleball, as a hobby or as an activity that you do. What makes it fun for you? And I think this answer is different for everybody. But I kind of went through two different versions myself yesterday. And like I said, it was a good example. So I think there are kind of two camps on either end of the spectrum, and maybe you fall somewhere in between. But on one side of the camp, you just say, this is a hobby for me. I just want to have as much fun as possible while playing. I love goofing around. I love hanging out. I love the social aspect. And, improvement or progression isn't even important. Like, I just like to do it for fun, right? And then on the other side of the camp, you have, I want to progress. I want to get better. For me, it's about the sense of accomplishment. It's about challenging myself, and it's about improving, right? And if you're not doing that, you're not particularly having fun. And both of those ways are good. And you can still have fun even over on this side where progression is what matters. It's just a different type of fun. It's more of a long-term sense in where you feel the accomplishment after you make a leap. And then that is very rewarding personally. So here's my example. Yesterday, I was playing some games and I was playing with a friend of mine, and we were playing against somebody who I played against, pretty regularly. And I would say I probably usually lose to him more than half the time. Well, for the first game with this friend of mine, I just got in this mindset that I was like, okay, I'm going to do everything right, everything as I should, right? And so throughout this game, I missed 0 returns, 0 thirds, 0 dinks, 0 serves. And I played a pretty boring game, what may not be considered that fun in the moment. I wasn't trying any tricky shots. I wasn't like, out there laughing. I was kind of dialed in. Well, we pickled them, right? And then so after that, I get this sense of accomplishment.
Barton pickled someone?
I know, right? So
incredible.
I've
never done
after that, I get this sense of accomplishment. I'm like, wow, I'm actually getting better. I can do this if I just lock in. This is cool progress to see. So then directly after that, we kind of take a break. We're all, kind of joking and laughing, and it's really hot, right? So my attitude kind of changed, and I also switched paddles. I was like trying a paddle now. So the next couple games, I was out there still playing hard, still competing, but trying more things. Unadvised speed ups, different things like that, trying to initiate hands battles just to kind of test my hands and things like that. Well, lost that game. So then continued to kind of play like that, lost the next game. And this is against the same opponents, right? So I personally experienced both sides of this. I wasn't thinking about it in the moment, but afterwards I was like, man, what was the difference? And that was what it was. With the games where I lost, I was probably having more fun and goofing off during the game, and there's nothing wrong with that, and I had a great time. However, the feeling afterwards wasn't this feeling of accomplishment, or wasn't a long-term sense of fun, versus the first game was, on the opposite end of the spectrum there. So it got me thinking about this in general, and I have another hobby that I've talked about on here, mountain biking. And for me, mountain biking
2 episodes in a row, baby.
Yeah, it's not about... for me, it's not about progressing. For some people, it is, but I'm not out there trying to like push myself to do huge jumps and drops. I'm a 35-year-old dude. Like, this is just a workout for me, and I have a blast when I'm doing it. So I like to, goof off and have a good time. And I don't care. I can mountain bike for the next 10 years and never get any better than I am right now, and I will still have a blast. I'm good enough to have fun, and that's all that matters to me. And that's like sort of my secondary hobby. It's a nice mental release. And I know that pickleball is that for some people. But I realized yesterday that that's not pickleball for me. What I realized after those games is that I need to see progression. I want the sense of accomplishment. I want to choose to care about this a little bit more. Sure, it's just a hobby. It's just for fun. But that mindset is important to me. And that was kind of an important realization for me because it helped me ground that. And I think it's going to help me focus in my future games, especially in more competitive games, realizing, hey, dude, stop goofing off. It may be, quote unquote, boring right now to dink someone to death, but the feeling that you get after that of realizing, man, I just did everything I needed to do and I won that game and I'm like getting better, that's worth it. So that's my net gains. I would say if you haven't thought about those type of things, consider what pickleball is for you. Try to line up your mindset for the way that it's going to benefit you best. And neither is right or wrong, but just understand yourself and understand what you want to get out of it and go for it in that way. Maybe help you focus a little bit.
So you're telling me all these tournaments we've played together and got smashed, it's just because you didn't decide to hit every shot in?
Sure. Yeah. We'll just say that.
Sure.
No, this is a big picture thing. It's a big picture thing.
Yeah. Totally joking. But yeah, that's great. Great insight. I would honestly agree wholeheartedly. I cannot be someone who's a pickleball player who is just fine with staying right where I am. I need to see that progression as well and improvement. Almost anything athletically that I've ever done has been that way, So yeah, thank you for attending Net Gains. We're going to move on to everyone's favorite segment. New week, new main, baby. Sponsored by Bodhi Pickleball. If you're looking for overgrips, tungsten tape, edge guard, arm sleeves, and tons of other pickleball accessories, you can check out Bodhi Pickleball and utilize Pursuit to save you some money at checkout. Again, that's code Pursuit, 15% at checkout from Bodhi. Bodhi, thank you for sponsoring this segment. Justin, I'm going to let you go first, man, because I got a little surprise for everybody.
Well, I got a new main.
New week, new main, baby. What is it? Let's hear it.
New week, new main. Asterisk. I have an asterisk. All right. This is my new week, new main. This is the paddle that I'll pull out of my bag if I just want to play for fun or for competitive. I'm not testing anything. Boom,
baby.
The Chorus Fire.
This is the paddle.
Furia prototype.
Yeah.
This is one of their preludes, and I gotta hit up Bodhi. I'm running out of overgrips. I need to regrip this thing. Anyway, this is why it's an asterisk. This isn't a release paddle. This isn't a legal paddle. This was one of the prototypes that Matt from Chorus is working on for the Fire replacement. Pretty sure it's going to be named the Phoenix from the ashes of the fire. Ashes, baby. This is the paddle that we all played with at the Pickler in Dallas when we were there testing all the prototypes, and I was lucky enough to get one. And Lewis loved this paddle. I love this paddle. John loved this paddle.
Very good.
It's so good, and it is
to make it clear. This is not a paddle that would have much uncertainty to pass. PB Core.
Oh
testing.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, we say that we don't understand the damn test, obviously.
Yeah.
But we don't understand what they're doing with it.
This
but
aligns with many other paddles. Yeah.
It's not crazy at all. I mean, honestly, it's within the same realm as the Neonic Flare Prime X. This is 10 mil cells, 14 mil thickness, CFC layup. Just like I was saying earlier, I had 3 paddles that are 14 mil and CFC, and they all play differently. This is one of them. So this has a different feel than the Neonic. The key here is that the carbon fiber used in this is not T700, it's T300. So there are fewer fibers, It's more flexible, it's a little bit softer, and that is a great complement to the fiberglass.
Great.
So this has a lot of similar attributes to the Neonic, honestly. But yeah, in a weird way, even after all this time with the Neonic, this somehow feels a little bit softer. I mean, easier in the soft game for me. Drops and dinks. Just slightly. I would say the Neonic has slightly better spin. Love this paddle. Hope that the Phoenix that releases is similar to this, and I think maybe it will be. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. This is actually probably the closest thing to...
Just release that, Matt. That's great. Just release it, please.
Well, I think he's cooking up some stuff. Give me your opinion on this. I think this is actually the closest thing to, and this is not what he was going for, but what everyone was trying to do before, like, oh, it's like a paddle tech, but it's thermoformed. Mm-hmm. That's what this feels like. Actually, has that same kind of bouncy feel.
Really good. Kind of like a lighter, crisper feel on ball contact. Yeah.
But if I had to play a tournament,
good take.
Neonic Flare Prime X.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on, it's approved.
Anyway, all right, dude.
All right, bro. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
New main.
Last week, God, this guy. Okay,
we were maining the C45. Yeah, you better calm your little
I thought you were about to go there after not picking it in the battle.
All right, this paddle is phenomenal. Love it. It's amazing. However, cannot fucking believe I'm saying this.
No. Is it really?
It is. New week, new main.
Actually,
GX2. It is actually the new week, new main.
This is actually a huge endorsement.
I will be playing with this in the Moneyball this weekend. And I'll probably never play with it ever again after that. But, new week, new main, baby! GX2 Hyper.
That's crazy. I didn't see that coming.
I did not see that coming either. Especially with how just like god-awfully heavy and clunky the elongated version is. I thought this was going to, just somehow just be terrible in terms of specs. But, sure enough, it came in at really respectable specs. Metrics. It was 113. Yeah, metrics 113 swing weight, 6.7 or 6.8 twist weight. Solid. So very easy to manipulate and adjust. This is 115 swing weight, 7.3 or 7.4 twist weight. So great, great stability. Feel off the face of this paddle. So muted. Almost like, some people said it might be to a detriment in some circumstances. But for me, I enjoy it. I have no issues with my drops, no issues with my resets. This paddle has some power to it too, which is nice. So I would say it's very similar, maybe more powerful. It's more powerful than the C45. Pop, I'm not sure who I go for, but I have 12 grams of lead tape in the handle because it does not have the recessed butt cap. So would have put a flick weight in here.
That's crazy. I can't believe
Gearbox, dude. Can't freaking believe it. I guess the world is going to end soon. So, bad, cannot believe I'm saying that. Gearbox, honestly, you know what? Well done. Way to make an example out of me.
Way to make a paddle that a subpar player might like.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. You ready for NERDTOWN? Mayor, take us, bro.
Choo-choo.
Let's go, baby. NERDTOWN.
All right. Hey, this is a long episode. This is a long episode. We're already an hour plus. You're definitely going to sleep.
I'm going to be yawning for sure.
So in NERDTOWN today, we're going to talk about R&D and basically the different types of R&D that are done in pickleball, the different types of companies and how they tackle R&D, if they do at all. Okay. So first type of company we'll talk about is what you might call a catalog brand. You may have heard us say this before, but essentially what will happen is all the factories, or a vast majority of them, are in China, and they will make paddles for a number of brands. Those are their clients. There's the factories of the OEM. And then once they have made these paddles and they become something that, they think will sell, they will then essentially put it in their catalog. This may be on Alibaba, this may be directly through an agent that you talk to, but they will have different models that, basically are the models they make for other brands, and those become the catalog. And now any new brand or any other brand can talk to them via Alibaba or the agent and order, hey, I would like this one, W06, out of your catalog, and I want it to be branded this way with this edgeguard color, and maybe they'll make a small change, right? So
basically a shirt blank at that point, kind of.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, and you can ask them make small changes. Oh, can you use the hard pallets in the paddle handle instead of the soft ones, or whatever it may be. So anyway, that's what a catalog brand is. We might call that a white label brand also, because that's what they'll call it when you white label these paddles. And basically, when we're talking about R&D, that means zero R&D. You are just relying on the factory's R&D, which may be even secondary R&D from another brand. It's possible. You never know. The factories do come up with some of these designs on their own. Sometimes they are designed by the brand, or at least led by the brand.
And don't get it twisted. A catalog paddle does not mean it's going to perform poorly. In most cases, it's totally fine and equivalent to most other things on the market.
Yeah. You could white label basically a paddle that's exactly the same as one of the $200 fairly top performing paddles. Put your branding on it. And it does happen. It's no coincidence that some newer brands or smaller brands have a paddle that, when dissected, looks exactly the same as a larger brand and performs exactly the same. They just white labeled that. So when it comes to R&D, that means essentially zero R&D. The amount of R&D you would do there is you would order maybe 10 different catalog paddles from the factory, try them, maybe give them to your players or whatever, and then say, oh, we like these 2 out of the 10, we'll order those 2. So 0 maybe is too harsh because that is some level of R&D. Okay, so I would say the next tier of R&D is having no in-house R&D, but driving the factory to do a little bit of R&D on your behalf. And this happens a lot. A lot of brands have 0 in-house R&D here in the States or whatever, but they might have an agent who's good at communication at their factory, and they say, hey, agent, or hey, factory, I like this paddle that I had previously, but hey, I want to try this. I want to add foam here. I want to make it thinner. I want to do this different material on top. Can you source these items? Right? And then they will create multiple prototypes in that fashion, whatever their ideas may be. They're essentially theory crafting, and then iterate on those. Maybe they find something good, right? And that is going to be a lot of the brands out there. That's what they're going to do. They have no in-house R&D, but they will put forth the effort to try to come up with semi-original ideas. And that may just be shapes. Like, I like this paddle out of your catalog, but I want to make my own shape. I want it to have a longer handle or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that is how a lot of paddles are made. And honestly, with the way tech is right now, if you made 4 iterations on a design and they're all positive, then you can make a really awesome paddle that's different than anything else on the market. And that was essentially your R&D, so to say, but it's low level. The next level is where you will either have in-house R&D or like outsourced R&D, where you actually have engineers or just extreme paddle nerds, I guess, like myself, where you either have someone employed or you pay someone on contract to say, I need you to design from the ground up. Usually this means in CAD or whatever, paddle concepts. And then you will either prototype those here if you have the capability, or you need to work directly with the engineers at the factory and give them all the files and teach them how to make it. Because if it's not something they've done before, it's a complicated process to take your design from the ground up and then just give it to the factory. Oftentimes what happens is they'll say, okay, and then they'll make it, and then it's like a half-ass version of what you wanted. It's difficult, the communication barrier, but you can do it. And this is a lot of what I do personally, like, with my retainers. It's not all R&D, but a lot of what I do is I'm an outsourced R&D department for different brands who hire me. And so I've had a lot of experience with this kind of communication barrier. And that is kind of the highest level, except if you had your own in-house engineer and your own in-house manufacturing, where you can come up with your ideas on one desk, walk to the next room and make it yourself, which is extremely rare, if not non-existent, for most of the tech that we have in pickleball. But that is where it's going to go, and that is where the top brands likely will be, and there's a massive advantage whenever you can shrink your timeline like that. You can come up with ideas and then boom, just make them. So yeah, that's the different levels of R&D, and there are different levels of timelines with each one. Of course, as we walk through those, the smaller level, much faster timeline. If you just want to order something out of catalog, cool. Order 10 of them, try them, choose your 2 favorite. Boom, a couple weeks, If you're trying to get them to make changes, now we're looking at a couple months. If you're trying to design something from the ground up, now we're looking at 9 months from inception to launch. Maybe a year, maybe more if it's really unique, i.e. TrueFoam, So that's a question that people ask me a lot. How does R&D happen in pickleball? Who's actually doing it? Is it Chinese R&D or is it in-house? And I think that all are valid and sort of all have their place. Some are more innovative than others, and some are more respected than others. But that's what we got on the market. Any questions about that? Or did I cover it?
Way to nerd it up, dude. I love it. That was good. Definitely some nuggets in there that I learned. Well done, nerd. I love it. I love it. I just learned so much from you. You're so knowledgeable. That's why we call you the Oracle. All right, man. Do we have anything else before we get off of here?
No.
All right. If you disagree with our paddle bracket, we want to hear it in the comment section below.
Oh, I thought you were going to say get over it.
Yeah. No. I want to hear it. I want to know what
but
you
yeah,
think.
And
what is your final
fours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Send us your final four. What is your final four from those 16 paddles?
And next week we're going to choose the actual winners. So I'd be curious to see. People are definitely going to disagree with us next week, but they probably already did this week.
Yeah,
So.
There might be one or two paddles they disagreed with. I'm sure there's some Bantam lovers who are pissed off about the Flare Primax.
Well.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all watching this week's episode of the Pickleball Pursuit Podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, with my co-host here, Justin from Pickleball, etc. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, topics that you'd like us to cover in the upcoming podcast, please don't forget to leave those in the comment section below. Till the next one, see you guys later. Peace.